The average American takes about 3,000 steps a day. But we need to talk about a new magic number that you need to know about that can help decrease your risk of dying from cardiovascular disease, of dying from cancer. And it can help lower your risk of diabetes, depression, dementia, and even lower your risk of falling. And the great news is this magic number is probably more achievable than you think. The pure magic of 7,000 steps today on Living Heart Smart.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Living Heart Smart. Today, we have another hot off the press episode, papers that were just released about 2 weeks ago, talking about the number of steps that we need to be achieving every day. So we're talking about exercise. Again, yes, we just talked about it 2 episodes ago.
We do love talking about it.
We do love talking.
From a heart health standpoint, it's critical.
Exercise is critical for your health. You've all heard 10,000 steps. That's where you should be shooting for every day when you're trying to get your step count in. I got to go for 10,000 steps. Matt, do you know where that came from?
Well, I do know where it came from, and it's sort of funny how it came about. But yeah, most people aren't aware.
Right. And won't everybody be surprised when we say this number was totally made up?
Yeah.
Just made up.
Marketing 101, yeah.
It really is marketing. And so where it started was the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. There's a Japanese character for 10,000 that some people thought resembled a walking person.
Mm-hmm.
You can go back and forth on whether you think this actually looks like a walking person or not. But 10,000 was a way to get people moving. And then all of a sudden it just became the chant. But now we have some data. How many steps do we really need a day? And the number is less than 10,000. It's a much more achievable number.
Yeah, I like this. And the reason we're talking about it is the data says that there's a more realistic and achievable number that people need to know about, 7,000 steps a day. Well, I'm really excited about this 7,000 number as far as steps per day goes, as showing significant benefit to people's health. I think it's just a more realistic number and more achievable for many people. So let's talk about it for a little bit. Paper just came out in the Lancet, August of 2025 for us just a few weeks ago, called Daily Steps and Health Outcomes in Adults, a systematic review and dose response meta-analysis. And what they're looking at is the dose response relationship to steps to health outcomes. And so when I think of dose response relationships, we're usually talking about medications, right? What dose is needed to improve outcomes or lower your cholesterol or lower your blood pressure. So this is really cool to be seeing a very detailed look at the number of steps per day, your dose, compared to health outcomes like dying from heart disease or cancer or depression.
It is. It takes us back to that idea in episode 22, where we talked about movement as medicine. And so if you start to think about exercise as medicine, it helps sort of shift your mindset a little bit there.
Yeah. And what these researchers did was they looked at 57 studies from across the globe in studies that looked at health outcomes and the number of steps per day obtained in any way you watch your steps. There's 3 major outcomes that I think we should talk about. Number 1 is all steps are good, right? So even a modest amount of steps per day markedly improved health outcomes across the board, which was fantastic. Number 2, and I think this is the big key, is that now we know 7,000 steps a day decreases your risks of all those things we just talked about, but it tends to plateau right around 7,000, just above 7,000. So I think the key point for us is it's just a more achievable number. It's more realistic for busy people to shoot for 7,000, knowing they're getting the full benefit of the health outcomes that we want. Third, and finally, I will say, yes, there are some improvements still in health outcomes if you go above 7,000, 10,000, even up to 12,000 steps a day. So we definitely don't want to inhibit people that want to keep moving more, because there are some added benefits, but they're smaller. And I think for most people, 7,000 should now be considered the sweet spot if you can get there, which is great.
Right. And so 100%, all walking is good. All steps count. Yeah.
Still true.
Mm-hmm. Right. And this paper actually looked at it looked at walking in increments of 1,000 steps. And so that's how they started to find these differences in modest amounts of step counts. And when we say modest, we mean about 2,000 steps.
Yeah.
And they looked all the way up to about 12,000. And they found the biggest benefit really was around 7,000.
For people even going from 2,000 to 4,000, there was a
Right.
36% decline in mortality just by doubling that. So
That's
again, we're going to
amazing.
keep reiterating all steps are good, but each incremental benefit seems to be even better, but it just plateaus a little bit above 7,000. So that's the main storyline here.
And I really hope that this is liberating for people out there,
Yeah.
because when they looked at these steps, it's just a strict count. It has nothing to do with speed, intensity,
Right.
anything like that. So if you think about it that way, sometimes it makes it a little bit easier for people to really work to achieve those.
Yeah.
And
I
there
think
are really, yeah, I think so. Yeah. And there are really 4 benefits to your cardiovascular system that we want to talk about. Number 1, makes your heart more efficient, lowers your blood pressure. Number 2, lowers your triglycerides. That's part of the cholesterol panel that we measure, the fat in the blood. Number 3, it reduces inflammation throughout our body. We know that walking reduces inflammation. Number 4, this one's my favorite. It reduces insulin sensitivity. Being insensitive to insulin really causes us to gain weight, and it predisposes us to diabetes. Both
Right.
of those things are bad. So if we have lower insulin sensitivity, it helps us start to lose some weight and helps us prevent diabetes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps the cardiovascular system in many ways, these daily steps.
Matt, how do you tell people some practical ideas? How do we start getting these 7,000 steps?
So I think until it becomes habit for people, it's going to be difficult to make these changes. So let's just start. Let's say the average person, just by almost doing no exercises, still can get a couple thousand steps a day. So you're at 2,000 just by getting up, doing laundry, going to the store, walking around the house. So the question is, how do you get from 2,000, add 5,000 more steps in to get to around that 7,000 level? So the way I think about it is it takes about 10 minutes of a steady walk to get 1,000 steps. So if you're going to need to add 5,000 steps to your day, where is that going to come from? Well, it can come from a 10-minute walk at lunch. There's 1,000. It comes from a 10-minute walk after dinner. There's another 1,000. So it can add up pretty quickly. And I think people just need to figure out what's going to work for them and then make it happen. It will take a couple months to become habit, but once it becomes habit, and if you're really tracking these steps and being aware of it, I think that's what it's going to take.
You know, Matt, I tell patients every day when we're talking about exercise, and I really look to where the patient is in their exercise journey. And if they tell me that they're so active and they're very busy all the time, I start to ask them, prove it to me. Just prove it. That's where I really am using step count to talk to patients about how many steps are you getting a day. Let's start there and see what we're finding.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, because being busy and getting 5, 6, 7,000 steps a day are two different things for sure.
Right.
So I like that. I do like tracking the steps, and it's something I've done for quite some time. For me, it's motivational. If you're wearing the watch or you keep the phone on you most days, it's just right there. I mean, there's no extra work for me to know how many steps I'm getting. So I like to track it. I do aim for 10,000 a day. That gives me a little leeway, if I don't have the perfect day. But it allows me also to compare week over week, month over month, and year over year to see where I am. And I like that. So for me, and by the way, the data
you're competitive
suggests
about it too.
Huh?
You're competitive about it too.
Yeah, I like to keep track of that.
Yeah. But what were you going to say? The
data suggests that people who do track get about 2,000 steps a day more than those that don't track. So I think there's a motivational factor to tracking that. And so whatever it takes, though. I mean, how about you? What do you do?
I don't track steps during the day. I don't wear a watch. I don't have my phone on me all the time. I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it.
All right. That's fine. You are pretty good at what you do, right?
I am. So I really am doing more of the 150 minutes of moderately vigorous exercise a week.
Perfect.
That's something I can track. I know exactly how long I'm exercising, which I have found is much more helpful for me. But I'll shift. I definitely shift at times over into the 7,000 steps when I'm traveling. I don't want to go to the gym when I'm traveling, but I do want to make sure I'm active, and I will have my phone on me. It's time to take pictures. So it's a much more accurate count for me then.
And the beautiful thing about these this data that keeps coming in is that there is no one right way to get your exercise. So
I love it.
if you're a step counter, now we know 7,000 plus steps a day is good. There are also plenty of data to show the cardiovascular benefits, the health benefits to doing 150 minutes of exercise, moderate intensity exercise a week. So whatever works for you, pick your poison. No, that's not right.
No, don't. This isn't poison. This is good medicine.
Well, pick your good medicine.
This isn't pick your good medicine.
Backwards. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that what we showed people over these couple of episodes is that everything is right as long as you're moving. You always want to continue with your own fitness goals. You want to keep pushing a little bit forward. And we didn't talk about strength training and stretching and those sort of things. We want to try to work that into our fitness routine as well. But the aerobic benefits, no matter how we get them, they're there. So just make your picture bigger. Yeah.
And just remember, about 10 minutes will get you 1,000 steps. So find a way to get those extra steps in and keep on moving.
Thanks, everybody, for listening today. And if you have ideas for episodes, please just let us know. Leave us a like. Follow us on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio.
See
you next time.
Thanks.